Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sage and Whiskey Podcast, the podcast that combines tarot, astrology, pop culture, and good whiskey. My name is Nataly Lorraine, and I'll be your host today. So, this week is going to be a little bit different because we have a new moon this week. Actually, today on the 22nd. I'm recording this early, but it will be tonight when you hear it. So the new moon will be coming to around 10:25 Eastern Standard Time, I believe is how they go with that. If I'm either way, when you see the moon outside, you know it's a new moon. It goes into full effect at 10:25, but when it comes to new moons and full moons, the energy is strong 3 days before, 3 days after. So don't get caught up on like standing outside at 10:25. It's not that deep. For some people, it is. I'm not that kind of witch. So this particular new moon, like any other new moon, it's about setting intentions and putting things into place. So I pulled two cards for this particular new moon, and I pulled the Emperor card and the King of Wands, and they're both in reverse. And I double check because sometimes when I'm shuffling my deck, it's upside down because the design doesn't tell me if it's front or back. If you have tarot cards, you understand some of the designs on the back don't let you know. Um, but my deck was upright, and these two just decided to become out reverse, so I'm just gonna go with it. And essentially, what I'm getting from this is a very stressful time for a lot of people, myself included. Well, not stressful time. I shouldn't say that. Words mean things. This is a very uncertain time. I shouldn't say stress, uncertain time. A lot of things that we thought were supposed to be are not, and it's forcing us to restructure what we do. So the Emperor card and the King of Wands in reverse, a lot of what I've been seeing on my timelines is a lot of people starting these side hustles or breathing life into these side hustles. What I want to say with the Emperor is we always feel like we know best. And with this Emperor in reverse, this is a time for you to reach out for help, okay? I know that a lot of people, especially myself, I'm African American, melanated brown, however you want, a person of color, all of the things, girl. So we can be very prideful. And so when we have an idea for something, we don't want to reach out for help for anybody. But I want to say that a hard ass makes a soft bottom, all right? Hard head makes a soft ass. I don't know how I messed up there. Anyways, so instead of falling on your face, because you're going to fail with things in life, I think the best teachers are from your life experiences when you do things and mess up. But you don't, a lot of times we don't have to mess up as much as we do because there are so many people in our circle, whether we know it or not, that have knowledge that can pass it on to us. So the Emperor reverse is saying, reach out. If you starting this side hustle that's outside of your normal everyday 9 to 5, whatever you previously been doing, reach out to help. Everybody, a lot of people are on grind mode right now, and you might be able to get that mentor. Not for the low, but you might be the person that was normally jam packed and busy right now might have some downtime to help those people that are trying to do the same thing. So this is the time to look through your social media. I know y'all been scrolling. Reach out to that person that you might not think will give you the time of day and ask them a question. Okay, because right now we need to be thinking about things in a more collective way, and this whole individualism and all this stuff, which has been pushed to us for a long time, it's not the business. And I mean, of course, you should have your own individual goals and whatnot, but community is what builds things. Community is what builds things and breaks things down, okay? It's never just one person to take something down, it's never one person to build something up. It takes one person to start it, but you're going to need a group, okay? You're going to need help. And with the King of Wands, stop being so hard on yourself in reverse. A lot of times y'all been sitting, y'all see these people starting stuff, and you're just like, I don't think I can do that, this, that, and the third. Listen, I can speak from experience. There are so many things that I have started that I didn't think I had the business doing, and honey, end up working out better than I ever imagined. So sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith, reach out to those people. You might not have to reach out to nobody outside of your circle. You might have a aunt or uncle or your parents or one of your best friends or somebody from college, kind of like an associate. You might have somebody that you ain't even really gotta do too much to ask them, like, hey, I see you doing X, Y, and Z. I'm trying to do this. Do you have any tips? And I would say this: if you're asking anybody from any advice on something that they're doing, and that's something they do for a living, I would suggest you have some type of payment for that person. I'm not saying that everything costs, but it's a sign of respect. So if you can't give them money, be like, hey, when I get this product out, you get a free service on me or something. Find a way to compensate them to let them know that you appreciate the knowledge that they're passed on. That's really what it's all about. And that's how we keep growing. So for this new moon in Taurus, if you're trying to start this, because last week was about fire and getting that light, that fire, and now to this week, a lot of people are still like on the fence. Jump off the fence, reach out, get it together, get it in motion, write what's your little business, what you're trying to do, burn it under the new moon, fire safe things only. Don't be burning down your house. And don't say Nataly Lorraine told you to do it, because I'm not going to jail for y'all. So please burn things in a fire safe container. Can't stress that enough. But yes, set those intentions. Taurus is a very hard working spirit. So go out there and be great. So I'm going to move on to my witch tip or my sage tip of the week. And I would like to replace this or add to this in the coming weeks with like a listener letter. So if you one of my favorite podcasts is The Read, and honey, I live for the listener letters. So I want to incorporate that into my podcast as well, because it's nothing like finding finding out what other people are going through and being able to give them some type of advice. And I will actually pull real cards for you and give you an impromptu reading. And of course, you can write to my email for my business, which is Nia Ashe Healing, NIAESHE Healing, HEALING, at gmail.com. And just put in the subject title, so I know that you're different from my regular readers or regular clients, is put Sage and Whiskey as the Sage and Whiskey listener or letter, Sage and Whiskey letter. Okay? But today, I'm just going to keep it real with you, and we're going to do something that has been bothering me for my God, so long, is all of these frauds online. And I want to say the tip of the day for anybody that's interested into witchcraft, voodoo, astrology, tarot. I really want to say the magic stuff, because anybody, well, they all have their own people that are specialized. I can't say anybody can do these things. But when it comes to like you trying to do spell work on yourself and on other people, you need to be careful. And a lot of people um, have a lot of money and a lot of time, and they call themselves these self proclaimed healers, and they go around getting people's money. I'm not going to knock the hustle, because a lot of people are paying for them, and it's baffling to me sometimes for the grassroots type of healers who are really not out to. Of course, we all want to make a living from this. Well, I'm not gonna say all. I can say most of us want to make some type of compensation on what we're doing, because it takes time and energy and effort and all those things, and it's nice to be paid for them. But there is a sort of moral code where a true spiritual practitioner will not want to take advantage of anybody, because we know that that's not why we were given these gifts. And they're like really not burdensome. I don't know how to say. These gifts are really powerful, and if they're given to people who the spirits or your ancestors or whoever, however you feel like you got your gifts, God gives these gifts to people they feel like will use them in the pure have the purest intent with using them. So when I see these people online and they're telling you to just like even simple like spiritual baths, they're telling you to put stuff in your bath that should not even be touching your skin. They're telling you to like just simple love spells and things like this. I'm like, who taught these people? And I even have a book from one of these people, and I'm still kind of on the fence with this person, but I noticed that a lot of spiritual people are like white women, young white women. Some of them are old, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with learning the crafts or whatnot and appreciating these spiritual practices, but there should be a line that's crossed. There should be a line drawn in the sand that no one should be able to cross unless you are a part of that particular culture by blood. And I know that's touchy for a lot of people, but just it's just how it is. Like I'm not Native. Well, I may have some Native American in my blood somewhere. Apparently, it's on my dad's side, but I'm not one of those black people that loves claiming I'm such and such Indian. I mean, if it's there, it's there. But I'm not full. My parents are not half and half or full and whatever. So I'm not going. If I go to a Native American retreat or whatnot and learn how to make a totem pole, and that's I'm pulling. It's the only thing I can think of at this moment. No, dream catchers. That's one. I learned they showed me how to make a dream catcher. I will not all of a sudden decide that I am the expert on dream catchers, because that is a cultural thing. We might think it's small, but it's not. Every way that the strings are strung up in that dream catcher and the beads and the feathers and all that has spiritual significance to that culture. And just because I was let in and being shown how to do it does not make me an expert. And that's how I feel about all these healers on here. Everybody feels like they're expert. I'm not an expert. It's in my blood strong, and I'm still learning every day. I go to workshops with and learn things all the time, but I always give a disclaimer that I'm not an expert. So please, don't just believe everything that you see. And I want to say, if you're getting hit up by people on Instagram and your inboxes and stuff like that talking about you want to be pregnant, pay me $300 and I'll sacrifice a lamb for you, don't fall for that. And I'm not saying there are not practices that do not involve sacrificial killing of some animal, but they're not going to reach out to you. For the most part, you're going to have to talk to somebody in your community who knows somebody, and you're going to have to speak to that person individually and probably most likely in person, because they need to do a divination on you to make sure that what you're asking they're allowed to practice. Just because somebody has a gift doesn't mean that they're able to do what you're asking them to do. There are steps to all of this. So please be careful. And I know it's cute when people put it on Instagram and they have a cute little caption and nice little pictures and this, that, and the third. You think it's legit. No, they just know how to use graphic design. So just follow your spirit. And if there are so many, I'm going to put in the comments on this podcast of different people that I feel that are the real deal that you can reach out to and get real information, because I'm so sick of it, because I'm excited that a lot of people are learning on how to step into these spiritual practices, but I feel like they're being taken advantage of. And I'm not gonna go. I feel like I've been too long into this, anyways. So we're gonna move on to the media spotlight for today, which is a series that I found back in the day. It's no longer running that I know of. But if you have Hulu, a lot of the stuff that I will recommend will be on Hulu, and because that's my main platform. But I will pick movies and stuff outside of that. But we on Hulu this week. So my media spotlight for this week is the TV show on Lifetime called Unreal. Now, this show is brilliant. I mean, the acting is brilliant, the idea behind it is brilliant. It just makes you wonder if this is really what's going down behind the scenes on these reality TV shows. So the premise behind this show, Unreal, because a lot of people are off work, so I think Hulu has all the seasons on there right now. I think it's 4 seasons, 3 or 4. I don't know. I need to look because I watched them all, but I just decided it popped in my head today. It has the girl from Sopranos. I forgot her name. She got the little funny little nose. She's a cute girl though. Jamie something. I think that's her name. Anyway, she looked like she always up to no good. It's just her face. No shade on her. But in this pot and on this show, she is normally up to no good. So Unreal is set on the scene of like the Bachelor and the Bachelorette. Well, really the Bachelor, because the main character is a male. Normally they did switch it up a little bit. But normally the main character is a male, and there are women competing for him, like Flavor of Love, the white version. I think the Bachelor came before all that. We took all that stuff much later. Anyways, they show you the behind the scenes of how they get people to fight, how they get people to break down, how they influence people with alcohol, how they talk to these people and use psychology to get under their skin and make them react a certain way, because I am a real what is it? Real world. I'm like first generation of real world. That was during my childhood. So I always used to wonder when they do those confession scenes, how, they'll show you the scene of the confrontation happening, and then they'll do the confession and they'll be like, how do you feel about that? I always wondered, like, how do they know that this is going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, how are they getting this real time confession from this person? Now, it might not happen right in then and there, but I'm like, how do they? It was just too much stuff going on. It just seemed like something's going on behind the scenes. So Unreal basically shows you how they go in and do this and how they make these scenes real. And I really like it because as I've gotten older, Unreal came out, I believe, in 20 came out a couple years ago. And as I've gotten older, I don't really watch like the mainstream reality TV shows anymore, like Bachelor, Real Housewives of Atlanta, this, that, and the third. I've kind of moved on from them. But I think it was because of this that you realize that a lot of this stuff is staged or people are putting on for the cameras. I don't knock these people's hustles. I can watch, I'm hooked on the ones that, while I still know they're manipulating them to a bit, it's a little bit more realistic. And eventually, I know I'm going to be off of all of that because growth. But if you really want to take some time to see like them dissect a reality TV show, but it still be a scripted show, check out Unreal. You will not be disappointed. You will probably be disgusted, honestly, because baby, I know this one episode, I'm not even going to tell you what season, they legit took the medication from this lady to make her have like a psychotic break. And then in another season, They basically let one of the contestants assault another person, like sexually assault. It's rough. And I'm not going to say all of them are triggered. This series can be a bit triggering. So watch at your own risk. They deal with some heavy topics, and it just shows you that your mind is very powerful. And if you let someone get into your mind, honey, they can make you do whatever they want. And even on this show, which is crazy, which I always wondered about, they have a licensed psychologist on the show that they get information about the contestants from, which I feel like is illegal. HIPAA, like Hippocratic oath, all that stuff that they're supposedly like do no harm and bullshit and all that whoop de whoop. Yeah. So eventually, this show is just messed up on so many levels, but it's entertaining, and it allows you to not feel so bad because these are not real people. It's a scripted show. So it's like reality TV light. Because if you really look at these reality TV shows, sometimes you do feel bad for these people because these are real people. Now, some of them nowadays, they're actors and they're trying to get a come up, but not everybody is in that. Some people just trying to get on TV, they really legit trying to get a husband, and they feel like this is the best way to do it. So check it out. It's called Unreal. It's on Lifetime, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you watch the show, you watch episode, just comment below, let me know if you liked it or not. And that's all I have for that particular segment. Now we're going to move on to the last thing of the night, and it is our whiskey recommendation. So, the whiskey I have today, well, I don't have it today, but it is a very favorite whiskey of mine, and some people might judge me for this. It is Jameson whiskey. Now, I know you're probably like, what is Jameson? Now, all of us, myself included, go to the bar and we call it Jameson because it is indeed spelled Jameson. In my mind, that's Jameson, but apparently the correct way is Jame is Jim, the E is a, and the sun is sun. So it's Jameson. I'll probably still keep calling Jameson, whatever. Unless I'm in Ireland and I'm actually at the distillery, and then I'll be like, okay, can I have some Jameson? But we're going to keep it cute. So, my all-time favorite way to drink Jameson or Jameson is a pickleback shot. Now, if you have never heard of a pickleback shot, if you don't like pickles, this is probably not for you. But you basically take uh, an ounce and a half of Jameson, which is a full shot, a regular shot you get at the bar, and then you also get an ounce and a half of pickle juice. You take the shot, take the pickle juice, and you're like, well, what is the thing with the pickle juice? One, I'm a weirdo. I like pickle juice, but not pickles. Super weird. But it takes the sting out of it. You know how, like, you take tequila, which is the nastiest liquor in the world. I'm not a tequila drinker. I will take one for the team, but it is never going to be my first, second, or third choice. I will drink vodka. I will drink Burnett's bottom shelf vodka before I drink tequila. That's saying something. Now, the salt. When you take the shot of or you take a tequila shot and you do the salt and lime, same thing. Takes the sting out. So if you haven't tried it, Jameson is honestly a really good whiskey. Now, a lot of people think of it as like an everyday whiskey. I just think that's their marketing. But Jameson has won so many awards about being a great whiskey. And it's so good that most of the people in Ireland don't even drink that shit. It's 90% exported, so everybody else is drinking that but them. And, fun fact, that the founder was actually a Scotchman, which from Scotland. If you don't know geography, it's cool. I'm here to help you out. Scotland, Scotchman, Irish, Irishman, Ireland. Anyways, so that is all I have for you guys today. This episode was a little bit longer than last week, but it'll vary. I'm not going to keep y'all for like an hour, hour and a half, unless I have a special guest. So please, please, please write in your story so you can be featured on my podcast, because I want that listener interaction, or else they'll just feel like I'm just talking to my damn self, which I can do, but I don't want to. I want to make sure that I'm engaging with you all. So follow my Instagram channel or Instagram page. I just revamped it. Uh, my personal page is Nataly Nataly Lorraine Lorraine 6, and I have a lot of my tarot stuff on there because that was my business page until I changed it over and then scrapped it a week this month. It's just rebirthing. So then my business page is Nia Shea. It's Niaeshe on Instagram. So don't be alarmed if there's like 3 posts up there, because I'm rebuilding it and Sage and Whiskey is a part of that. So thank you again so much for everyone who has told me that I need to do this shit for years. I am finally doing it, and I hope this will be a nice little passion project for me, and of course allow me to meet new people and to educate. That's what I love to do. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week. Bye.